My Little Pony Friendship is Magic started off simple enough. The tale of the two sisters is fairly basic. Two sisters are happy together, they rule. Then one of them's not happy, and they turn against each other. What was really interesting about this in particular was that this is only the basis for the first two episodes. It doesn't really play too much into the main story later. We do get other snippets of interesting lore about this, but it was mostly just a hook. And that's fine, because it was a good hook, and I think it worked on a lot of people. What's really interesting is we get who I consider to be objectively the best character in the show, based simply on development and characterization, and that's pretty unfair, considering we start with her and we end with her, and she is the focal point. But she is who this entire episode, or video, if you will, is going to be all about. And it's going to be a long one, so sit back, get something to drink, something to eat. I'm basically just going to gush about her, and she's a nerdy little unicorn pony that we first meet right after this. So if it isn't obvious at this point, my third favorite character is Twilight. I really, really like Twilight Sparkle. I think she is one of the strongest protagonists in anything ever. And by strongest, I mean like well-developed and written and everything else. Up to a point, of course. With my first two videos, I kind of had no idea how to go about making them. With the Cadence one, with Cadenza, I highlighted her feats and such. And with Sunset, I decided to focus on her growth as a character and then her decline, in the sense that they didn't let her grow as much as they did in the beginning. With Twilight, I want to focus on a lot of stuff, but the problem is with Twilight, we have 9 seasons and a movie and other stuff worth of info, and that's a lot. So I'm going to be doing this one a little bit differently.
Elements, E. Aha! Elements of harmony.
God, Fighting is Magic was such an incredible work of the fans. It sucks so bad that Hasbro had to be so greedy and stupid. Anyways, to Twilight. Season 1. This was the start for Twilight, and it was incredible. It was an incredible start because I don't think Twilight really got a lot of people into the show. I think Twilight, to begin with, was just the solid main character, and that is perfect. That is what she needed to be. Personally, I got into the show because of a gif of Pinkie Pie that I saw, and then in this first episode, the thing that got me to keep watching was Fluttershy. Then I eventually moved to Rarity, who was amazing, and then Luna, and then I kind of just bobbled everywhere, and then all these years later after, Starlight is like my heart. So back to Twilight, sorry. Anyways, the entire purpose of Twilight in season 1 was for her to learn about friendship, which is great because that's what the entire show was about, the magic of friendship and blah blah blah. And Twilight as that center anchor of not really knowing what friendship was and learning about what friendship could be and how strong it could be was perfect for a protagonist. And the first place that really shows is episode 2.
You think you can destroy the elements of harmony just like that? Well, you're wrong, because the spirits of the elements of harmony are right here! Applejack, who reassured me when I was in doubt, represents the spirit of honesty. Fluttershy, who tamed the Manticore with her compassion, represents the spirit of kindness. Pinkie Pie, who banished fear by giggling in the face of danger, represents the spirit of laughter. Rarity, who calmed a sorrowful serpent with a meaningful gift, represents the spirit of generosity. And Rainbow Dash, who could not abandon her friends for her own heart's desire, represents the spirit of loyalty. The spirits of these 5 ponies got us through every challenge you threw at us.
You still don't have the 6th element. The spark didn't work.
But it did. A different kind of spark. I felt it the very moment I realized how happy I was to hear you, to see you, how much I cared about you. The spark ignited inside me when I realized that you all are my friends. You see, Nightmare Moon, when those elements are ignited by the spark that resides in the heart of us all, it creates the 6th element, the element of magic.
Alright, so I've seen that part probably 20 or 30 times, and if I'm being completely honest, it makes me cry every time I watch it. From the first moment I saw that scene, I knew that this show wasn't going to be just about nonsensical, goofy crap. It wasn't going to be just for girls or just for boys. It wasn't going to be any of that stuff. It was going to be special. And the center of that specialness was Twilight. She was the focal point of just how powerful friendship could be. And friendship is a very crucial thing for most people. A lot of people can do without it. Well, I don't know if I'd say a lot, but people can do without it. But for a lot of people, friends are very important. And growing up in my life, they were always important to me. And seeing this show really reinforced that. And kind of being like Twilight in the sense that I had to be like fighting for my friends. I really related to her well, but I also admired her because of her attitude and her positivity when it came to learning about friendship. Now, really getting to that message of learning friendship, that Twilight was learning how to be a friend in season 1. We get the first of what I consider many excellent episodes, Ticketmaster. And with this episode, it really does a good job of showing how it can be difficult to have friends. Because if you think about it, Twilight going to the Grand Galloping Gala could always just go. She didn't need to worry about bringing anyone. Obviously, she'd bring Spike, but she didn't need to bring anyone else. And in this episode, she has friends now, and her immediate reaction is, oh, I'll bring Applejack. And then she's like, oh, Rainbow Dash is here. Oh, I have a lot of friends. And the message of this episode is really well done, and it really shows how smart Twilight is and how she's already starting to understand what it is to be a good friend.
Spike, take down a note. Dear Princess Celestia, I've learned that one of the joys of friendship is sharing your blessings. But when there's not enough blessings to go around, having more than your friends can make you feel pretty awful. So, though I appreciate the invitation, I will be returning both tickets to the Grand Galloping Gala.
What?
If my friends can't all go, I don't want to go either.
From the moment I heard that message, that moral, I knew this show was going to be incredible. And I knew that the protagonist was smart enough to be a positive influence on people that were watching it. And from that moment on, I liked Twilight a little bit more. And as time went on, over and over and over again, I realized I liked Twilight more and more and more and more. And that's kind of where I led to today. how I got to where I am today with her being my number 3, my third favorite character. She consistently just becomes better and better as the seasons go on. And we also have really good episodes after this one that she learns lessons in, such as this one coming up.
Well, Twilight, I guess it's up to you. Come on, show her what you're made of.
What do you mean? I'm nothing special.
Yes, you are. You're better than her.
I'm not better than anyone.
You think you're better than the great and powerful Trixie? You think you have more magical talent? Well, come on. Show Trixie what you've got. Show us all.
Who, me? I'm just your run-of-the-mill citizen of Ponyville. No powerful magic here. I think I hear my laundry calling. Sorry, gotta go.
So I really like this scene for multiple reasons. A lot of people would watch this scene and think that Twilight is incorrect, but she's not. Twilight is humble, and that's a very good trait. But what makes this scene even better for Twilight's character is the fact that she is completely right and everyone else is completely wrong. Let's think about this for a second. Trixie is a stage performer, and yes, she's boastful and proud, but that is her job. She wants to draw audiences and such, right? So what would have happened if Applejack, Rainbow Dash, and Rarity didn't challenge Trixie and just let her perform her magic? And then, after Spike wasn't mad and didn't tell Snips and Snails about the Ursa Major and whatnot, Trixie would have performed her show, people would have liked it, and then she would have left and performed her show somewhere else. There was no reason to bother Trixie at all. And yes, Twilight could have shown her up, but she didn't need to. And the fact that she's so humble makes her look even better in the end when she defeats the Ursa Minor herself.
Well, I know how much you all hated Trixie's showing off with her magic tricks, and I just thought...
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Magic's got nothing to do with it. Trixie's just a loudmouth.
Yeah, you know who else is a loudmouth? You are, Rainbow Dash. Anyways, this scene is especially good too because, again, Twilight just saved everyone, and her main concern is not showing off. She could be as proud and as arrogant as Trixie, and she's not. She's still concerned with being humble and being kind to her friends, and that just makes her that much more likable.
Oh gosh, where should I go? I'm not sure where I'd fit in. What exactly does every pony do?
So the last part of season 1 that I wanted to talk about with Twilight was Winter Wrap-Up. A while back, I got a lot of guff on my short for To Change a Changeling because I was mad at Thorax for getting mad at Starlight because all Starlight was trying to do in that episode was help. Yes, she did screw up. Yes, she could have handled things better. But when your friend is trying to help you and they have the best intentions in mind, you should take that into account. That is no different here with Twilight. Everything she's doing in this episode, from trying to help with the weather ponies, to trying to help with Rarity's baskets, to trying to help plow with Applejack's earth ponies, she's only trying to help. Even when she messes up and she uses magic and it causes the avalanche and all of the snow and everything happens, she's trying to help. She's just there to help you guys. And take that into account. Yes, it's not your tradition. Yes, she did mess up. But she's a friend and she's doing her best to help. And that makes me like Twilight even more. And the only reason she even used magic was because stupid Spike. So, like, I don't even hold that against her. This episode made me like her even more than before by a lot.
These are all the letters I've written to the princess since I've lived in Ponyville. But why would she send them back? Real friends don't care what your cover is. Friendship is a wondrous and powerful thing. And like the path cut through the orchard, there'll always be a way through. The best thing to do is to stay true to yourself. Has a special magical connection with her friends. Maybe even before she's met them. Spike! Spike, it's all so clear. Can't you see? Discord's trying to distract us from what's important. He knows how powerful our friendships are, and he's trying to keep us from seeing it. Do you remember what I said the first day we arrived in Ponyville? I told you that the future of Equestria didn't rest on me making friends. But the opposite is true. The friendships I've made since I've been here are what saved Equestria from Nightmare Moon, and now they need to save it from Discord.
So after season 1 and showing how to learn what friendship is like, they had to change up the formula a bit for Twilight. And season 2 started quick with their friendships being tested, seeing if their friendship could endure. That started with Discord, discording them, and Twilight having to fight for her friendship. And in this episode, we see Celestia sending back the messages that Twilight had sent her so that she could remember just how much friendship had changed her over the year that was season 1.
You all right, hon? No! I am not all right.
What? Oh, no.
I don't
quite
understand. It's just terrible.
Yes?
Simply awful.
Yes?
It's the most horrific trouble I've ever been in, and I really, really, really need your help.
Yes?
My letter to Princess Celestia is almost overdue, and I haven't learned anything about friendship.
Oh, thank goodness. I thought something really awful had happened.
Something awful has happened. If I don't turn in the letter on time, I'll be tardy.
No offense, Sugar Cube, but it looks like some ponies getting themselves all worked up over nothing.
This is not nothing. This is everything. I need you guys to help me find some pony with a problem I can fix before sundown. My whole life depends on it.
Oh, Twilight, you're such a crack-up.
Come on now. Have a seat and stop sweating the small stuff.
Now, obviously Twilight is exaggerating. That much is very, very obvious. But the fact that the girls just blow her off and laugh in her face is not something you should do if you're a good friend. This, again, is another episode where Twilight is completely right and everyone else is wrong up to this point. When she goes completely insane and she creates a friendship problem, that is when she crosses the line. But the thing is that even here, after her friends treat her poorly, it turns into this.
I missed the deadline. I'm a bad student. I'm tardy.
You are a wonderful student, Twilight. I don't have to get a letter every week to know that.
Really?
Wait! You can't punish her!
It wasn't her fault. I'm listening.
Please, Your Highness, we all saw that Twilight was upset.
But we thought that the thing that she was worrying about wasn't worth worrying about. So when she ran off all worked up, not a single one of us tried to stop her. As Twilight's good friends, we should have taken her feelings seriously and been there for her.
Please don't take her away from us just because we were too insensitive to help her.
I'm really glad we got that message because it's really, really important and it is a very good message. But I think something that people missed here was the fact that Twilight was so forgiving of her friends. They admitted they were completely wrong. Twilight did nothing wrong in that sense to them, and she still just forgave them without even having to say anything. And guess what? In this season, that's again not the only time that will happen.
Princess Luna? Hi, my name is...
Star Swirl, the bearded. Commendable costume. Now even got the bells right.
Thank you, finally! Some pony who gets my costume. I just came to welcome you to our celebration. My actual name is...
Twilight Sparkle. It was thou who unleashed the powers of harmony upon us and took away our dark powers!
And that was a good thing, right?
But of course, we could not be happier. Is that not clear?
Well, you kind of sound like you're yelling at me.
But this is the traditional royal Canterlot voice. It is tradition to speak using the royal we, and to use this much volume when addressing our subjects.
You know, that might explain why your appearance was met with mixed results. I think if you just changed your approach a bit, you might be met with a warmer reception.
Change our approach?
Lower the volume?
Oh. We have been locked away for 1,000 years. We are not sure we can.
So I love Luna. Like, I love Luna. I like her so much. From the first moment she appeared in episode 2 to this episode when we got to see her more elaborate design with power, I fell in love. And Twilight reinforced my love for her by being herself in this episode. She was so welcoming, she was so kind, she was so friendly, she was perfect.
Princess Luna! I finally figured out why you're having so much trouble being liked.
Forgive me if I withhold my enthusiasm.
Come with me. I'll explain everything on the way.
So not only had Twilight treated Luna with kindness and respect and welcomed her to Ponyville, but she was the only one that did it to begin with. Everyone else was scared of Luna, which makes sense, but Twilight went out of her way to form a good rapport with the princess. And when we get to the end of this episode and we see how Luna is eventually accepted, it's pretty much just because Twilight didn't give up. Luna gave up herself. She was angry and unhappy, and she basically just wanted to quit. But Twilight kept pushing her and pushing her and pushing her. And that really, really, really resonated with me. As a friend, as someone who is supposed to help other people, other friends, Twilight just knocked it out of the park on this episode.
I'm here. I'm not gonna stand next to her. And neither should you.
I'm sorry. I don't know why she's acting like this.
Maybe we should just ignore her. You have to listen to me!
Oh, goodness. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
You sure about that?
I've got something to say. She's evil. She's been horrible to my friends. She's obviously done something to her bridesmaids. And if that wasn't enough, I saw her put a spell on my brother that made his eyes go all...
Why are you doing this to me?
Because you're evil. Evil! And if I don't stop you, you're gonna ruin my brother's life.
You want to know why my eyes went all... Because ever since I started having to perform my protection spell, I've been getting terrible migraines. Cadence hasn't been casting spells on me. She's been using her magic to heal me. And she decided to replace her bridesmaids because she found out the only reason they wanted to be in the wedding was so they could meet Canterlot royalty. And if she hasn't been on her best behavior with your friends, it's because with me being so busy, she's had to make all the decisions about the wedding.
I was just trying to...
She's completely stressed out because it's really important to her that our big day be perfect. Something that obviously wasn't important to you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go and comfort my bride. And you can forget about being my best mare. In fact, if I were you, I wouldn't show up to the wedding at all.
Come on, y'all. Let's go check on the princess.
You have a lot to think about.
So in this scene, everyone abandons Twilight. Everyone. All of her friends, her brother, though that is arguable because he was under Chrysalis's control. Celestia and Spike, all of them abandoned her. And this scene pissed me off so bad because Twilight was clearly right, and they just abandoned her. Like, you don't do that to your friend. She didn't do anything wrong. She was 100% correct about everything, and instead of listening to her and even considering the fact that she might be correct, they just abandoned her. And they all suck for that. This scene is a big contrast to the movie scene, right? Where Twilight is painted out to be wrong because she steals Queen Novo's thing or whatever. And that's really stupid because Twilight was shown to be the right, correct one. And with the movie, they were already like, what, 7 years in almost. And they're like, we're going to make Twilight wrong now. And her friends are going to be right. And that was stupid. The movie sucked. Anyways, this particular scene really, really, really made me happy for one reason. And that was, at this point, this is where I really consider Twilight to be superior to the main six. She's like considered part of the main six. I consider her a princess after she ascends, but this was the start of that for me, where I was just like, well, clearly she's just better than them. I think that was kind of like a thing that people didn't want, but she is. Twilight is better than her friends. She treats them better. She does better things. And like the writers tried to remedy that later by like making her a thief and stuff and making her bad, but she's not. Twilight is superior. That is why Twilight became the princess. That is why Twilight rules the kingdom. That is why Twilight is the main character, because she is superior to them. And this scene, when they all abandoned her, really, really illustrated that to me.
It's funny, really. Twilight here was suspicious of my behavior all along. Too bad the rest of you were too caught up in your wedding planning to realize those suspicions were correct.
Sorry, Twi. We should have listened to you.
It's not your fault. She fooled every pony.
This is all we get. This is all we get. All we get as far as an apology goes to Twilight is Applejack just saying sorry, Twi. That's it. Celestia doesn't say sorry. The rest of her friends don't say sorry. Shining Armor is in a state, so that's fine. I kind of let him get a pass. Spike never brings it up with Twilight. And guess what? Even after all of that BS and treating her like garbage, Twilight just forgives them. Twilight just forgives them again. Twilight is basically a saint in this show. And she is so friendly and so kind and so nice. She's an embodiment of all of the elements, basically. She's generous, she's kind, she's honest, she's loyal, and she's laughter. Freaking Pinky, man. Anyways, this episode really showed me how great Twilight is even more. As you go through the seasons, you'll start to see that. You'll start to see them making Twilight better and better and better. And a lot of people would be unhappy with that. Twilight isn't very flawed. She does have flaws. She's not a Mary Sue, and she does have flaws. Look at Lesson Zero. She is indeed very flawed, but she's also very, very smart and very, very, very good. And that's what makes her such a good protagonist. And in the later seasons, which I'll get into in a while, they do try to make her even worse. They're like, let's make Twilight awful. Let's make her a thief. Let's make her like a jerk. Let's make her all of these things, because I guess people didn't want her to be a Mary Sue when she was never a Mary Sue. And it's really stupid that the writers, either the writers fell into that trap and they were like, well, let's make her less Mary Sue-ish, even though she was never Mary Sue-ish, or they just didn't know what they were doing, which is honestly probably what happened. They didn't know what they were doing because we got new writers towards the end and they were all stupid. But yeah, this episode illustrates just how kind and forgiving Twilight is to her friends, to her mentor, to Spike, and to literally everyone.